Most people don't have a dream lifestyle. They have a default lifestyle. They wake up, follow the same routines, make the same choices, not because it's what they want, but because they never stopped to design anything different. And I know because I did exactly that. And it took me a while to realize that the life I was living wasn't really mine. So today I want to give you something practical, a starting point, to have clarity over how you actually want your life to look like and how to stop waiting for the perfect moment to start building it. Because here's the thing, your dream lifestyle isn't something you arrive to one day. It is something you design with intention starting right now. Number one, you want to start with what you don't want. Our brain is very bad at understanding and knowing why we love something or why we want something or why we find something beautiful. However, we are very good at knowing precisely why we don't like something, why we find something ugly, uncomfortable, boring, or meaningless. So let's use this to identify the things that we don't want in our life, and that will be our starting point. And for that, there are different things that we can do. So go to your calendar, like Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, or even just take a sheet of paper and fill it up completely with a typical normal week from Monday to Sunday. The time you wake up, your morning routine, transportation, your workday, and divide it into each individual task that you typically do. Sport, social life, house chores like cooking, cleaning, social time with friends, activities, nighttime routine, bedtime. And keep in mind that here we want to outline a very boring, basic week. So that doesn't include the exceptional times when you have friends visiting or when you go on a weekend, on a short trip. Just go with a very basic week and a very basic weekend. When this is done, we can start auditing this lifestyle under different themes. The first one, time. What parts of your day do you dread before they happen? When do you feel bored the most? What activities leave you feeling like you wasted your time? Second, environment. Where do you feel uncomfortable, uninspired, or suffocated? What about your city, your neighborhood, or your home would you change if you could? 3. People and relationships. Who drains your energy after spending time with them? Do you spend enough time with the people who actually matter to you? 4. Work and purpose. When does your work feel completely disconnected from who you are? What would you stop doing tomorrow if you could? Do you feel like your work reflects anything you actually care about? And finally, identity and self. When do you feel the most unlike yourself? And what habits or behaviors do you have that you are not proud of? Once you have written your answers, go through each one of them and flip it. Use this exact formula. I hate X, which means I need Y in my ideal life. Do this full exercise and carry on to the next one. Exercise number 2. Write your typical ideal day. You still need to work or go to school. You still have your mandatory activities, but write this day so that it is perfect to you. How does your morning routine look like? What do you do before work? How do you make your work feel as enjoyable as you can? What do you do after work? What do your evenings look like? When and how do you go to bed? Do not limit yourself with money or location. Feel free to dream, because here we want to focus on the core and the reason behind those wishes. Then do the same thing for a typical weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Now, this exercise forces you to be specific, and specificity is where real clarity lives. When you have a vision, you can imagine it in your head. It will be easier for you to see yourself doing it, to notice signals in your everyday life where you can put yourself closer to this reality and turn this vision into something you can actually practice in your everyday life. Most people have vague ideas about their dream life. I want to be free means nothing, but something like I wake up at 8 and I go and work in a coffee shop for 4 hours. Then I have lunch with my girlfriend and I spend the entire afternoon reading and studying my favorite subjects. Now that's a blueprint and not just a generic idea. Exercise 3, and possibly the most important. Find your 5 non-negotiables. So from the first 2 exercises, extract 5 things that must absolutely be present in your everyday life for you to feel like yourself, to feel happy, to feel like you could wake up to this day being excited because it will be perfectly aligned to your values, the person you want to be, and the life that you want to live. Not goals, but conditions. Things like working independently, living in a walkable city, having the time to read every day, being physically active, spending quality time with your loved ones. These become your pillars. Every decision you make, job, home, relationship, should be filtered through these 5 pillars. And these conditions should apply both to your week, but also to your weekends. Every single day. They shape your life and they make sure your life remains aligned to exactly what you want. Exercise 4, start the change. Because now you know what you don't want in your life. You know what your ideal day looks like. You have identified the 5 pillars that you want in your life. So now we can start acting. What things that you don't like can you remove or at least change so that it fits better with your goals? What pleasant things can you incorporate in your life or start doing more? What kind of places do you want to spend more time in? What kind of activities do you want to do? And what kind of aesthetic do you want to give to your life? This is another very important one. And look for patterns in the previous exercises. If you tend to see yourself fantasizing about the early hours in the morning, you wake up, it's still dark, you take 1, 2, 3 hours for yourself before even starting your day, even going to work, then maybe it would be interesting to start waking up earlier and making space in your schedule for having productive or fulfilling mornings for you. Or maybe you've noticed that most of the things you like to do and the places where you feel the best is when you are outside, outdoors, in the nature. Then try to do that more. Look for ways you can switch things up so you spend more time outside than inside. Now here's another one, which is very important for me. Maybe you dream of living in a different city. Why? What more would you do there? What would your ideal life be there? And what could you still do here so that it feels like you are already living in this city? I know for myself that ever since I've been to Japan, especially in Tokyo, I kind of tend to fantasize about living in Tokyo. And yes, I would love that. But when I think about why, I think about all the casual places I can go. I think about how I can just take the subway or even just a bike or walk to different places and enjoy the city. I can walking into a convenience store, buy a little snack, enjoy it as I'm on the go. And so I can do most of that here. Yes, of course, it's different. The aesthetic is not exactly the same. But deep down, at the core, I can still practice and do the things I would like to do there, but do it here and already get 70% of the satisfaction I would have if I would live in such a city. Okay, let's conclude. You will be surprised to see how much you can change today to actually transform your life. You will also notice that yes, money and location do help to really manifest this dream life. But at the same time, when you truly think about the reasons why you want these things and you look at the core and the reasons why, then you will see that you can access most of it right now just by starting. We haven't mentioned time. I know that time can be a real struggle for a lot of people. But if we're honest, we already waste a lot of time on internet, scrolling through social media. And I think there are dozens of ways we can become more productive, stop wasting time, becoming more time efficient in our lives. And this is also a huge area that we could talk about on how to make the most time out of your day, to have complete freedom over your schedule and make sure that you do the things that you truly want to do. Please let me know in the comments your 5 non-negotiables. I am very, very curious to read them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.